All right, well, you can see on the right is where we left off with a little bit of an exception. You can see these hidden lines here. I did do a little erasing, a little trimming of those to make room for center lines to come. I think we should do this the way we've been doing it in the past and just start with one view and kind of focus on that. So I will choose the right side view first. And the first thing we need to do is put the center lines in place. So, center line layer. And this first one is really easy. That just goes a 1/4 inch all the way. Now, I shouldn't say it's really easy because immediately you realize it's not a perfect fit in the dash in the center of that circle. So remember how we wanted to deal with that. We wanted to create the little dash marks, the little centerline marks for each circle individually. So the best way to do that is to offset it. If you go to offset 0.25, unfortunately, it takes it right to the edge because this distance is 0.25, so that's not going to work. So you got to change it, and I changed it to 0.2. So I offset this circle 0.2, and that got us close, but not all the way right to the edge. And just to refresh your memory, you don't want it going right to the edge. You do not, and I'll do that as a demonstration really quick. You do not want it to look like that. We don't want center lines to contact object lines flush like that. It's not good. It makes it look like there's something else going on there. So I offset this guy a little less, and now you can see that there's a little space in between. Okay. Interestingly, as it would turn out, if you look over here on how it's going to be dimensioned finally, it really didn't matter. But I was just saying, generally speaking, that's the way to do it. The reason it doesn't matter is because this center line for the whole part goes through the entire thing. And so I need to then extend it from the one edge of the circle to the other. So I need the center line to go through the entire part because of two reasons. One, this hole right here that goes through the entire part, and the other thing, to show symmetry, to show that the left side and the right side are symmetrical about this center line. So we had two reasons to have that center line go through the entire part. Anyway, what's nice here about the way that I did that, actually making it in 3 pieces, as you can see, is that we get that nice plus sign in the center of that circle, which is just, you know, good drafting. Okay, moving on to my diameter dimension here. I'm just going to hit this circle and place them there. Of course, that should be on my dimension layer. We'll get this guy here, showing the distance up from the bottom to the edge of that hole. And make sure I'm stay. Remember that you don't want any gaps. You do not want, let me zoom in on that a little tighter, see what's going on. Be careful, I must have my nearest snap on. Yes, I do. Look at that. Look at that. Nearest snap is on, and sure enough, it did not click where it was supposed to. That darn nearest snap will get you every time. So there, now it's reading 470. I'm going to move that dimension into the middle. Why not? Zoom out. Okay, looking good so far. How about the center line for this hole right here? So normally we would go from 1/4 to 1/4, right? But you probably guess that looks kind of funny. It does look kind of funny with this center line. This is just off. Honestly, it's correct for the one side of the hole, but it's not correct for the other side. This is kind of a judgment call. Personally, I feel like it's interfering with the drawing. So I just pulled it off. I said, you know what? I am just going to put it maybe like right there and not have it make contact with this edge. So that was a judgment call, and that's how I feel about it. The other side, I'm going to have it be the same. In fact, I'm just going to mirror it over there, M-I-N, or copy it over there. You can just see it, copy it, C-O-N-R. And that way, you know they're the identical length. We have the overall width to place here. So let's do that, 3 inches. Put that back on my dimension layer. And what else? Oh yes, this corner here. That is the 0.25 distance, which I'm going to put in the middle. Again, that's just personal preference. And then this guy showing the width of that slot is 470. And I think that's it. I think we got the, whoops, take that back. We got this height to do as well. There it is. Looking good. Why I have that one there. Looking good. So the right side view is complete. Okay, let's compare these front views. Not a lot of dimensions in the front view. Looks like 3 dimensions and then the center lines. We'll do the dimensions first. Pretty easy. This guy is the chamfer. So we're showing both sides of the chamfer. And you know, again, it's personal preference where you want these located. If I can fit dimensions inside, I like to do that. I personally prefer that look. And the same thing on the this guy here. Okay, center lines. We got the center lines for these holes here. And the arc hole, and there's also the big hole. So let's see where these come in. I think I might have left one out here. Let's look at this big hole's center line is coming right down here. Yeah, I left that guy out. So that'll be the one I do first on both of them. So that's this larger hole, this limit dimensioned one. And it's going to start there and go up to a 1/4 of an inch. Should get that offset. There it is. Bring that back down. Okay, so again, I'll do the exact same one over here. And that's from there to there. That's the center line of this bigger hole. And now these two smaller holes that go through the whole object. There they are. And lastly, the big arc. Its center is this line right here. This guy right here is 0.19 over. So we need to indicate that center point from there and then there. Okay. Again, that is showing us that's the vertical center line for this large arc, the largest arc on this drawing. That's its center point. Okay. I believe the front view is complete. Let's go to the top. The top is where the action is. A lot going on here. Whole lot going on. So let's do the center lines first for this guy. I'll just start off with this hole. You know, and I'm going to erase these, or at least this one set of hidden lines, so you can see how I ended up creating those. For this hole, I'm going to offset it 1/4 of an inch, as I always do, to get its center lines. Same with this one here. And then I will draw those center lines from quadrant to quadrant. There you go. And same with this guy. And that is how we get the nice plus sign in the middle. Again, like I was saying, if you were drawing this, it would be very easy to do. But that's how you make AutoCAD do it. Okay. So these other two holes, they are the same as this one, so that's just a simple copy. CO enter, grab both of these lines, copy it, move it from the center point to the other holes. So now we got those in good shape. And now you can see how I did the hidden line that shows that bottom slot. I just went to my hidden layer and line command and just picked up right where we left off, right on the end point of that line to the edge. And the same on this side, end point to the edge. So that's how we got that look there. The center line going through the whole object. As you can see over here, well, it starts off pretty easy. Same idea, just pick a point to start. The edge of the circle is a good one, and then go out 1/4 of an inch beyond the object line. That's what I did, and that creates a nice look. And then again, kind of edge of circle to edge of circle. Nice. Using the edges of the circles or the quadrants. Those are good points to click off on. Where we get into trouble is on this end over here. So let's deal with that. I'm going to zoom in on the other side first so you can see where we're going. I want to show the center point of this arc, this big arc. It needs a plus sign too. And through that plus sign, we're going to run a leader showing its size. AutoCAD is not good at doing this automatically. There's no good way to do it. So we got to force this. This is the center line itself, this vertical one. So what I did was I offset the center line 0.06. Let me do that for you. So I'm going to O, enter, 0.06, enter, and offset the center line that on both sides so that I can just make a little plus sign right here, right where it should be. And then I'm going to pull this center line back. And look at this. I got to do it equally on both sides so it doesn't, look at, if I just do it on one side, it throws this off. So that's a problem. So when you make an adjustment to a center line, you got to do the same thing on both sides so that it stays the same. Now if you do it to the circle's edge, the plus goes away. And by the way, my LTS is 0.35. So if you are getting the same look as me, that's where we're at, 0.35. So what I'm going to do is make a circle, another circle just for reference, from this center point to this edge here, just kind of, and then just shrink it down to that amount on both sides. There we go. And then delete that reference circle. And so that gave me this gap that I wanted. I know, a lot of trouble, sorry. And now I can make a center line here, or just copy an existing center line. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to copy one of these right over here. Check this out. Just grab that one and place it on this. Look at that. That worked out well. Perfect. So I just copied one of the horizontal center lines from the smaller circle and placed it there. But the important thing is that I took the horizontal center line on this circle and I just made it smaller on both sides to get this little gap in here. So now I've got a good looking plus sign for the leader that I'm going to create that will dimension this arc. So let's talk about that. Remember, the leader style needs to be changed. So if you haven't created a leader style, just real quick review here. It's just everything's 0.125, arrow sizes, the landing distance, and on content, the text height is 0.125. So content, text height is 0.125, the landing is 0.125, the arrow is 0.125. All right, so you're going to go to that leader and you're going to click with the nearest. You got to put nearest on. And you're going to click somewhere up in here on this arc. Below this hidden line, that's for sure. We don't, just below that hidden line. I don't want to be interfering with that. And drag it through there. You know what? Let me get on my dimension layer. Taking that back, I think that's the spot right there. That's cool. Man. It's tough. There's a lot of lines. I don't want to hit the center line. I don't want the arrowhead to get into this hidden line. So I know I'm being kind of particular here, but I'm going to choose just a little bit above that. And yeah, I think that looks good. So right there. And now I'm going to type the value, which is just R1.50. And check mark. All right, so again, not ideal. This is not working out perfectly for me. I want to actually have this line come through the center point, but off the object. So here's where it gets fun, really fun. I'm going to show you a brand new technique. And this gives you the most control you've ever had over a dimension. We're going to explode the dimension into its bits and pieces. So new command for you, explode, E-X-P-L-O-D-E, there it is, bam. Pick what you want to explode, just click on it, enter. And now it's bits and pieces. Look at this. The value I can just pull off, put it anywhere. I could grab the arrowhead and do anything with it. Look at that. Stretch it, contort it, do anything. I'm going to get rid of that little tail, or yeah, just get rid of it. So now I've got the value approximately where I want it, and I've got the line. Look at that, it even lost its, when it exploded, it lost its width. So I'm gonna have to give that back to it. Like click on, I'll do that right now. Just click on the line, come up here to width and give it the value it needs, which is 0.35. Exploding is pretty serious stuff. So, so what I wanna do now is extend it off the object to this line here. And the extend command's pretty cool. You can, it's right under trim, or you can type EX, and you're going to use the boundary method. So to use that, I'm going to set up a boundary and then extend to it. So I'm going to type B, enter for boundary, and then click this line, enter, and then go over to the line I want to extend to it and click it. And look at that. So it extended that line off to it. Pretty neat. Another way to do that, maybe more simple, would have just been to copy this existing line. So watch that. C-O, enter, click on this line, grab it at one point, copy it over there. You're like, oh yeah, Mr. Howard, that's quite a bit easier. Yeah, but the extend command is pretty cool. Anyway, now we've got the leader looking really good. It's going through the center point that we made for this arc. And now I'm going to make a little tail, a little landing here, and then just a little one, and then move this value back over there. Beautiful. So that is, that's perfect. That's exactly how I would draw it. If I was using pencil and paper, that's how I would have drawn it. Trying to make AutoCAD do that, not easy. Okay, but we did it, so we're good. Let's finish this up here. Dimensions to this circle here, this hole here. That's that 1.03. And then the distance from the edge to the center line of this circle. And I pulled that off. To make room for this other one. There. Looking good. The distance from the center line of that arc to the edge, we need to do that. And so clicking on this guy, being careful to grab its endpoint. There it is. Looking good, 0.19. And then the center of the big hole to the edge. There's that. And you could have left that in the middle. I'm not sure why I pulled that out. Just, I don't know, kind of look like, kind of match the other one a little better maybe. But if you're going to match the other one, make sure you put it in the underneath it. Again, you didn't have to do that. That's judgment call. Okay. got all of those linear dimensions on the bottom. Let's move up to the top. Talking about the chamfer here. 0.75 chamfer. I know the drawing has it shown with a 45-degree angle, but this is just as a legitimate way to do it, if not better. I think most people prefer a chamfer dimension like this. Okay, last thing, these holes. So we'll do the regular hole first. And before you place its value, type M, enter, and then a 3x space. Okay, check mark, and you can then place that. And the last one, the big hole, you're gonna have to go to your limits. So we will create a limits dimension. I have already done that. But if you haven't done it, let's take a look at what this is. So for this dimension style, I had to go into so my primary units are the same. They're just 3 decimal places. But in tolerances, I had to choose limits method. For lower value, I typed in 0.001. Upper value, there's nothing because I made it the size of the upper value. And so that's it. This is the only slide that I modified on my limits dimension style. And I simply put a limits method with a lower value of 0.001. And I also checked off down here the leading zero suppression. And with that style, you should be able to dimension this circle as such.